Tonight on CTV News at 11:30. More than a month has passed and still no word on when Kashechewan residents can return home.
We have to make sure that we're doing everything that needs to be done to make the community safe.
We'll have the latest on the water crisis on the James Bay. Plus, 2 North Bay councillors are removed from the Castle Home Board.
Mark and myself really have been challenging the drive of the Castle Home Board.
The board says it's lost confidence in the pair. And meet the hero dog that saved her neighbor.
She went to the door, the front door, and she barked, which was unusual.
It was Rosa to the rescue after a nasty slip and fall.
CTV News at 11:30 with Ian Campbell and Rick Wyman with weather.
Well, good evening. Thanks for staying up with us. OPP say they have seized drugs worth an estimated value of $35,000 following a bust Thursday in Iroquois Falls. After executing the warrant, investigators say they found suspected cocaine, crack cocaine, and hydromorphone, as well as paraphernalia and cash. A 40-year-old Iroquois Falls man, a 19-year-old from London, and a 22-year-old from St. Thomas are all facing charges. Nipissing Parry Sound Student Transportation Services is advising parents of possible school bus cancellations starting Monday. Drivers with Alouette bus lines are in position to strike and could be on the picket line February 23rd if a deal is not reached. According to the United Steelworkers 2020 last week, drivers voted to reject the company's final offer over wage increases. Transportation Services suggest parents subscribe to the bus planner notifications for the latest updates on affected bus routes. It's been more than a month since the water system failure in Kashechewan forced residents to evacuate. Officials are not able to say yet when people will be able to return home. CTV's Lydia Chubak has the latest.
More than a month has passed since the majority of Kashechewan First Nation community members were evacuated from their homes. A failure with a pump caused sewage to back up into the drinking water supply. Community officials tell CTV News repair work is underway. They say 2 new filters need to be installed and the entire system will need to be flushed and cleaned of cryptosporidium.
We have to make sure that we're doing everything that needs to be done to make the community safe, make the water supply safe. So it's just the situation that is a waiting game right now. And I think for the whole month of March, they're going to be out.
Wesley says community members are frustrated having to live in a hotel for over a month, especially considering they were only able to take 40 pounds of belongings with them.
All our people only took a backpack worth of clothes, and we're already a month in, and it's just been interesting how much we have to argue with ISC to kind of ask for things like that.
Wesley says the Minister of Indigenous Services Canada was scheduled to visit Kashechewan next week, but he just received word the trip has been cancelled due to logistics. Wesley says no government representative has visited Kashechewan to meet with community leaders about the crisis.
Yeah, it is frustrating to not get any word from them. But I think that's just how the governments operate, right?
Wesley says he's been told by Indigenous Services Canada that it's been quite a long time since an evacuation of a First Nation community has gone past 60 days. Wesley says the process lacks human compassion, and it's time that gets addressed. Lydia Chubak, CTV News, Timmins.
Thessalon is without its hospital's emergency department and will be until tomorrow morning. 24-hour closures have become commonplace in the community. Meanwhile, town officials say they have a plan to attract a doctor to town. CTV's Corey Nordstrom reports.
By week's end, Thessalon's emergency department will have been closed for 48 hours total, all due to a lack of physicians to staff it.
We've been without any physicians at our clinic since 2022. So we've been in a bit of a healthcare crisis. Our clinic's been operating solely on locums here for the last 4 years.
The lack of a permanent family doctor has been the subject of much frustration in the community, seen clearly at a rally held nearly a year ago. To address the service gap, the municipalities of Thessalon and Huron Shores have begun an initiative to bring in someone from the Practice Ready Ontario program, where foreign-trained doctors are supervised by local physicians before they can start a practice in Canada.
I think the barrier for Thessalon is it's a bit intimidating to be the first physician going in back into that community, because of course everybody is going to want to be rostered to you naturally, and I don't blame anybody for that. So I think if we can get a PRO, Practice Ready Ontario candidate in there for a return of service, we know we've got stability for 3 years because that's the return of service obligation.
With no family doctors in the community, they'll need the expertise from those in nearby Bruce Mines, and the towns are raising money to help cover those added working hours. Thessalon is looking to invest upwards of $40,000 into the initiative and are calling on community support for donations.
The two physicians from the neighboring clinic are going to come and provide some oversight. So it'll be outside of their scope of work. It's going to be a lot of extra time for them, so it'll cover their costs. We're looking around the $60,000 mark for 12 to 8 months of oversight.
Bird says there is excitement in Thessalon after one physician recently toured the community, and they hope to have more through in the coming months.
The best case scenario would be June 1st that they'd be starting, so there would be funds going out by June 1st. So time is of the essence to make sure it's fully funded.
Corey Nordstrom, CTV News, Thessalon.
2 North Bay councillors were removed from the Castle Home Board last night. Councillors Mark King and Chris Main were voted off the board following an in-camera session during Thursday evening's board meeting. Board Chair Dave Mendicino tells CTV News that under a bylaw, the board can declare vacancies on the Castle Home Board of Directors if 2/3 of the board votes in favor. The board declared the 2 seats vacant as they lost confidence in King and Main. The vote comes during an ongoing governance dispute between Castle Home and Castle Arms, a neighboring nonprofit seniors housing complex.
Mark and myself really have been challenging the drive of the Castle Home Board towards challenging the governance of a sister facility, which is Castle Arms. Essentially, they want to return to municipal majority control of Castle Arms, and Mark and I have a different position on that.
Mendicino says the city's been advised of the board's decision with a request to provide 2 new appointees to fill the vacancies. The Sudbury Food Bank is increasing efforts to divert food from ending up in city landfills. It's working with grocery stores, which donate food, and community partners use it or help to distribute it. CTV's Elena Everson reports.
The Sudbury Food Bank receives food donations from grocery stores, helping to divert it from ending up in the landfill.
We have 14 grocery stores across the city right now that are diverting food waste to the food bank, and in 2025 we were able to divert over 405,000 pounds of food waste from the landfill site.
Labby says beyond food banks, excess food with a limited shelf life is being given to groups that can get it to people who need it.
We've been partnering with the Thriving African Families organization, as well as a church in the Donovan, the First Nations church. They've been coming as well. And we also extended some help to Denise Sandel and her SOS project as well, just to kind of supplement what we're able to do to help people beyond what we're doing in our daily operations with our food bank partners.
Renee Brownlee is the city's director of environmental services and says food waste diversion is vital to help with the lifespan of landfills.
In waste diversion, we do have a hierarchy, and avoiding food waste to begin with is really one of at the top of the hierarchy.
Brownlee says recent small-scale residential waste audits show 30 to 50% of what's in garbage bags is divertible.
Mostly it's organic material, so food waste and compostable paper packaging.
The Sudbury Food Bank says some of the food that can't be distributed to humans because it's far beyond its best before date is given to farmers to compost or to feed livestock. Alana Everson, CTV News, Sudbury.
The U.S. Supreme Court has ruled President Donald Trump's tariffs against Canada are illegal. The ruling doesn't apply to steel tariffs already in place. In Sault Ste. Marie, Mayor Matthew Shoemaker commenting today on the ruling and whether there will be an impact on the border city.
I think that obviously the Supreme Court decision is good news, but I don't think it's going to rein in the president's desire to see tariffs across, variety of sectors. The tariffs that were deemed illegal by the Supreme Court are not the tariffs that are impacting the steel plant the most. Those are the steel tariffs specifically that are impacting our major industry the most.
After the Supreme Court ruling, Trump is now looking at using an executive order to enact 10% global tariffs. The Sault mayor remains confident that these tariffs will only hurt Americans and eventually will be reversed. Nearly $6 million is going to Chapleau to rehabilitate water infrastructure. Algoma Manitoulin MPP Bill Rosenberg made the announcement today on behalf of the province. The $5.7 million will help replace water mains and sanitary sewers. The full project will cost the township nearly $8 million to complete. The provincial money will cover most of the cost and marks the largest single grant in the community's history. A major boost for water infrastructure in Wawa as well. The community is receiving $4.7 million to construct roughly 800 meters of water main along Algoma Street and Beck Avenue. The project will also include 700 meters of sanitary sewer along the same roadways. Both projects have been funded by the Municipal Housing Infrastructure Program's Health and Safety Water Stream. We'll stay off the high snowbanks. That warning from PUC Services in Sault Ste. Marie. High snowbanks in the city have meant kids playing on them can potentially reach power lines. PUC adds touching the overhead lines is only one threat. Electricity can arc through the air if a person gets too close. They recommend maintaining a minimum 3-meter clearance from power lines. Keep children away from the lines and avoid piling snow underneath where possible. Time now for a short break here on CTV News. Coming up, Amanda will have your full weather forecast. For now, a look at the current conditions, and we still have the weather statement from yesterday. Potentially 10 centimeters of snow in that area in the gray along the Highway 11 corridor and just east of Trout Creek. Meanwhile, here are the current conditions as we see them. -10 in Kapuskasing. Sault Ste. Marie is on the positive side at 1 degree. Potential flurries through there. We'll have details after the break.
Welcome back from the break. Happy Friday. We made it to the weekend, and it definitely was a snowy start to the weekend. We saw some flurries throughout the day today, but the good news is it is going to be tapering off as we head into the weekend. A chance of flurries here and there across the board, some sunshine as well. Less than 10 centimeters of snow by the time the weekend wraps up, which is good news. 7-day forecast starting with Sudbury, Nickel Belt. Chance of flurries for tomorrow. High of -4, still keeping things relatively mild there. Chance of flurries on Sunday, continuing on into Monday, but that's when the temperature starts to fall. -13 degrees on Monday, -26 as the low, some sunshine on Tuesday, and a chance of flurries on Wednesday. For Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, chance of flurries for tomorrow, high of -2. Temperatures starting to fall by Sunday, chance of flurries there. Sunshine on Monday, -12, -10 on Tuesday with a chance of flurries. Continuing on into Wednesday. By the time Thursday rolls around, we inch closer to the weekend. Temperatures start to pick up a little bit, sitting near the freezing mark by Friday. For Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, some sunshine for tomorrow, high of -6. Chance of flurries on Sunday, a mix of sun and cloud on Monday, but it will be cold, -19 degrees, -32 for the low, so make sure you bundle up. Sunny skies on Tuesday, high of -15, and a chance of flurries on Wednesday. For Timiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake, a mix of sun and cloud for tomorrow, high of -2, a chance of flurries on Sunday, -5, -15 by Monday. That's when, as I mentioned, the temperature starts to drop right off. -16 Tuesday with some sunny skies and a chance of flurries throughout the rest of the week. For North Bay, West Nipissing, chance of flurries back-to-back Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures falling to -13 on Monday with a chance of flurries. Some sunny skies on Tuesday, -14. But then we start to get a little bit warmer. -4 degrees on Wednesday, a chance of flurries, getting closer to that normal for this time of year. So, Ian, we are going to see some milder conditions throughout the weekend. things are going to start to change. It is going to get a little bit colder, that's for sure. Definitely not bathing suit weather. I hate to disappoint, but we'll get there eventually. Back to you.
Aw, shucks. Thanks, Amanda. Well, the Bonsu Winter Carnival in Sault Ste. Marie is coming to a frigid end tomorrow. Brave souls will take turns jumping into the St. Mary's River in the Polar Bear Plunge. The icy dip starts at 11 a.m. The plunge will bring an end to the 9-day event as the Sault celebrates winter. Some brave souls there. Members of the Ontario Liberal Party joined student leaders from across the province criticizing Doug Ford's changes to OSAP, shifting away from grants and moving towards loans. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris with details.
After a 7-year freeze, colleges and universities will be able to hike tuition starting this fall. But it's the overhaul of OSAP that sent a chill across campuses and pulled students to Queen's Park.
Last week's announcement completely pulled the floor out from under us.
The new plan puts much less emphasis on grants. Right now, after they graduate, students only have to pay back 15% of the OSAP help they get. The new model is flipped. Only 25% of funding will come through grants. The other 75% has to be repaid.
People are scared. They don't know if they're going to be able to finish their degree. They don't know if when they graduate they're going to be able to pay it back. You know, some people, they're now considering if they should, go to university.
The Premier defends these changes, calling the OSAP setup unsustainable, and singles out what he calls horror stories.
Kids going out there buying fancy watches and cologne and not needing it, and families making $200 grand getting their kids' education. That doesn't fly with the taxpayers, I'll tell you that.
A remark students call a slap in the face, pointing out they are taxpayers and so are their parents.
And for us to be paying those taxes and suddenly the government decides that what we're doing is no longer valuable is just a betrayal.
There doesn't seem to be much to Doug Ford's claim that high-earning families are cashing in on OSAP.
My family isn't making $200,000 a year. We're going to have to get a loan. The grant to loan ratio has changed, and I think we're going to have to sadly settle with debt.
The government is infusing post-secondary institutions with more than $6 billion in extra funding over the next 4 years.
They set fire to the post-secondary system and now want applause for throwing a little bit of water on it.
Students say more money for their schools is nice,
but that doesn't matter when we can't afford to go to class.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Hundreds of job seekers connected with dozens of employers at a job fair today in Sudbury. CTV's Angela Gemmell reports.
There's a constant flow of job seekers coming through the cafeteria at Collège Boreal, and employers are just as eager to connect with them.
There's needs for employment out there. A lot of people are looking for jobs at the moment, and that's what we're here to do.
The career fair is a partnership between Employment Options and Collège Boreal, with events today at both the Sudbury and Toronto campuses. An estimated 500 people had a chance to speak to as many as 37 different employers in Sudbury. This human resource manager is actively recruiting for skilled trades positions.
I think these are a great opportunity to meet new and energetic individuals who are looking to get into the field, and we're looking to give them a shot and start their career with the Manso Group.
Most attendees came with resumes on hand to pass out to potential employers.
I would say the most important part was the connection, meeting new people, collecting their contacts, and so we can, meet in a different time.
Definitely help us to get connected to employers and learn, what companies there are. And it's great to see people here and then get connected to the employers, get inspirational, advices.
Employment Solutions says many of the vacant positions in Sudbury are connected to either mining or healthcare, but regardless of the field, there's some advice for job seekers.
A lot of it is computer generated when it goes through the process of elimination, basically. So you need to have those keywords ready and on your resume for it to go through the second stage, right? So an employer sometimes only takes up to 7 seconds to look at your resume.
Employment Options says its next career fair is Wednesday in Sturgeon Falls. This one wraps up Collège Boreal's first ever Business and Entrepreneurship Week. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
Still ahead tonight on CTV News. We'll head to Sault Ste. Marie, where the Sault Greyhounds were taking on another border city here at home. It was a wild night in Sault Ste. Marie, who is playing host to another border city. The starting to sting tonight down at GFL Memorial Gardens.
Fights off a check, then gets knocked down by Fisher, and Mignosa's there to get the puck. Here's Mignosa trying the wraparound. Quinlan gets over to make the save. Loose puck, they whack away at it, they score!
Noah Los would get the team's goal number 5 thanks to an assist from Marco Mignosa, who also had an incredible night tonight with 3 goals. But this is where Sioux would start to pull away. One more goal, an empty netter, would help lift the Greyhounds to a 6-3 visit over the Sting. It's going to be a busy night down there at the arena this weekend, with the Sioux facing off against Guelph tomorrow. Meanwhile, a heartbreaker for the North Bay Battalion, who are down in Kingston facing off against a powerhouse Frontenac team tonight. They fall 5-1 on the road. They now head to Ottawa for a Sunday afternoon matchup. Meanwhile, over in the NOJHL, a tough and crushing night for the French River Rapids. They fall 8-1 while on the road to the Kirkland Lake Gold Miners. The Powassan Voodoo cast a spell over the Sioux Michigan Eagles across the border. They come out with a 5-1 win. The Espanola Paper Kings managed to shut out their North Shore rivals, the Blind River Beavers, 9-0, and it was a shutout up in Iroquois Falls as the Hearst Lumberjacks come out with a 3-0 win. The Premier is clearing the way for all bars and restaurants across the province to start serving alcohol early Sunday. Licensed establishments will be able to start serving at 6 a.m. The city previously allowed early alcohol sales, the province rather, for the entire Winter Games. Now the Premier is pushing to make the rule the same across Ontario for a single day to allow people to drink while watching the gold medal hockey game. Well, we're now getting a new inside look into how North Bay's new community and recreation center is coming along. The city posting these pictures to its Facebook page late this afternoon. According to the post, the facility will become Canada's first full-sized net zero recreational center. It'll include a walking track, a large community room, 14 dressing rooms, and 2 new ice pads. Funding was made possible through funds from the federal government, the Northern Ontario Heritage Fund Corporation, and the city's revenues from the Cascades Casino. No word yet on an opening date. The Canada Revenue Agency says taxpayers should have an easier time filing this year's taxes. The agency revamped its operations thanks to a government-ordered service improvement plan focused on addressing call center delays. The CRA says it has streamlined its websites and hired more call center workers. The 2025 tax filing season begins on Monday and lasts for a little over 9 weeks, ending on April 30th for most taxpayers. Well, a senior on Manitoulin Island credits a neighbor's dog for helping him after an outdoor slip and fall. CTV's Lindsay Alick has more.
89-year-old Mickey McKinney went out to move his snowblower one cold February afternoon when he slipped and fell. He says he tried to get up but couldn't.
Eventually I started getting worried. I have one of these, a helpline, but it was in my pocket and I forgot completely about it because I had a cut on this arm. That's why it was in my pocket. Anyways, to the last resort, I started yelling for help.
Rosa, the dog next door, heard McKinney yelling and alerted her owner.
She went to the door, the front door, and she barked, which was unusual. I mean, there was nobody there. And so I got my boots on and her leash, and we went outdoors. As soon as we got outside, I heard a call for help.
Gilchrist and another neighbor tried to get him back on his feet, but needed to call the ambulance for assistance. McKinney was a police officer for over 30 years and says this is the first time he's been the victim.
I brought her some cookies the next day. Yeah, she's a lifesaver. I think so anyways.
She can see people come out and she'll know who they are, because I can tell the tail's wagging, you know, if it's the neighbors over there or here. And no, I'm just totally amazed and very proud of her and shocked that she did all that and saved Mickey.
McKinney ended up with stitches on his one knee and says all things considered, the outcome could have been much worse. Lindsay Alick, CTV News, Mindamoya.
That is a good dog, absolutely. And what a cutie. She deserves all the cookies she can get. That takes us to the end of our newscast this Friday night. For the latest news anytime, remember you can head to our website, ctvnewsnorthernontario.ca. You can also download our CTV News app. Sault Ste. Marie, I'll see you this weekend. I'm going to catch my very first Hounds game. To everyone, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you Monday. Good night.